Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Let's just do a, oh, hold on a second. Can't see where the notes are. Ah, here they are, chat. Okay, good. So sorry, I found the chat. I was just looking for the chat. Okay, so hello everybody. Let's just do a quick sound check. Can everybody hear me? Okay, good. Looks like everyone can hear me. That's great. Okay, well, let's carry on. So my name is Daniel. Maybe some of you have been to my webinars before. Maybe this is your first time. So I am currently broadcasting to you live from a small city in the northeast of the United Kingdom called Durham, D-U-R-H-A-M. So some of you may have heard of this town. It's reasonably well known for having a good university. So maybe now you could introduce yourselves. So which country are you in the world? Okay, China, Thailand, India, Vietnam, Russia, Nepal. Okay, so lots of people in Asia. Oh, a few people in Africa there as well. Iran, Nigeria, Norway, some in Europe. Okay, so we've got a good range of countries there. Are there any people from South America here today? Haven't seen anyone from out the South. Oh, Argentina. Yeah, we've got South America as well. Okay, good. And so what is the nearest city to you? Where are you in your country? Okay, Beijing, Bangkok, Manila, Accra, Oslo, Chennai. Okay, so it seems like most of you are in your country's capital or in other big cities. Okay, and so many of you will be taking the IELTS academic speaking test because you want to study abroad, I presume. And so which country do you want to study in? Okay, UK, Canada. There's always lots for Canada and the UK, USA, Australia, Germany. Okay, and I assume you're going to these countries maybe to do a master's degree or maybe a bachelor's degree, maybe a PhD. And so which subject are you hoping to study? Maths, programming, AI, biology, nursing, wow, linguistics, MBA. So you've got a good range of subjects there as well. And so is this the first time you have been to one of these webinars or your second time? So if it's your first, put number 1, it's your third, put number 3, so on and so forth. Okay, so for most of you, it looks like it's your first time. So the way these webinars work is that over the first 40, 50 something minutes, I will be presenting to you. And at the end, we should have about 10 minutes. Hopefully, if there's time, we should have around about 10 minutes for some Q&A, some question and answer. So if you have any questions during the presentation, because I won't be able to stop all the time and answer your questions, could you write them in the Q&A section, and I will hopefully have time to answer them at the end of the webinar. Yeah, okay, so let's begin then. So today we are going to be having a speaking webinar. So obviously I cannot hear you, but you can engage with me via typing. But at times I will actually ask you to speak anyway, because I'm going to be showing you some different techniques and things. And so I want you to practice these techniques during our class. And even though I can't hear you, it will still be beneficial for you to speak anyway. Okay, so today we are going to be focusing on planning your short talk. Does anyone know which part of the speaking test this refers to? That's right, yeah, it refers to part two, not part one. So this refers to part two of the speaking test. So we're going to be practicing part two. So I hope that by the end of this webinar, you will be able to use two different strategies to plan your short talk in part two. So we're going to be looking at two different strategies to help you in part two of the IELTS speaking test. We're going to be looking at how to clearly introduce your topic, and we're going to be looking at some useful language to link your ideas. Can anyone give me an example of a linking word? Good. So therefore, moreover, however, nonetheless. Yeah, good. So they're all quite formal, I guess. But you could use them in the speaking test, but they are quite formal, but that's okay. There are others that are less formal. Okay, and we will also, the topic of today's class is we're going to be focusing on how to describe a place that you have visited, because this is a topic that often comes up in part two. The part twos, there's mainly just a few different kinds of part twos. You're either going to be describing a person or a place or a thing. So it's really good practice to practice describing a place, which is what we're going to be doing today. So in part two, you will be given a topic on a piece of paper that looks like this. That will be exactly like this. Above, there will be some big, thick, black letters, and this is your topic. This is what you have to do. And below that, there are three little pointers. 1, 2, 3. So these are just a guide. So you can talk about these if you want, or you could talk about other things. This is just a guide. Okay, so now I'll just read you this. So in part two, you're given a topic by the examiner. Yeah, we know that. And then you have some time to prepare. You will be given 1 minute to prepare, and then you have to speak at length. Does anybody know how long you should speak for? That's right, you have to speak for 2 minutes about the topic. And you really should speak for the full 2 minutes. Do not stop. So some candidates stop after 30 seconds or 1 minute or just over a minute, but you really shouldn't do that. You should keep going until the examiner interrupts you. And the examiner is obviously timing the test on his or her stopwatch, and they will interrupt you after 2 minutes. So you need to keep going until they do so. Okay, so this part of the test is sometimes called the long term, but that's not particularly important. Okay, so now I'm going to show you some statements, and I want you to tell me whether they are true or false. So the first one, the topic is related to personal experience. I want you to tell me, is this true or false? And here, where they say the topic, they mean this particular topic. Okay, so here we're talking about a beautiful place that you have once visited. So yes, this is true, because we're talking about a place where you went, and therefore this is a personal experience. Statement number 2, you have 2 minutes to prepare. Okay, most people In fact, almost everybody is saying this is false. Yes, this is false. So why is it false? That's right, because you just have 1 minute to prepare. Okay, next one. You need to speak for 2 minutes. Okay, this statement is true. Yes, you really do need to speak for 2 minutes. Okay, next one. You cannot make notes. Okay, yeah, everybody has got the right answer. That is false, because you can make notes. So the examiner will give you a pen and paper, and it's a good idea to make notes. Does anyone know what kinds of notes you think you should make during the 1 minute preparation time? Yeah, maybe some keywords. That's right. Yeah, some pointers, some words that can jog your memory. Maybe an outline. That's right. Yeah. Next one. You must cover all the points on the question card. So they mean these 3 points. Okay, so some people say true, some people say false, some people say that they're not sure. So in fact, this is false. So you do not need to cover all of these. You could talk about one of them, you could talk about 2 of them, or you could talk about all 3, or you could talk about none of them. It's completely up to you. This is just a guide. Next one, you need to finish your story before the time is over. Okay, again, we've got a good mixture here. Some people are saying true, some people are saying false, some people are saying not sure. So this is false. So you could get through a quarter of your story, half your story, three quarters of your story, or finish your story. It doesn't matter. As long as you keep talking, that's the main thing. And obviously the most important thing is to keep talking while using good grammar, good pronunciation, good lexic, good fluency, obviously. Content of your story, as long as it's on topic, it doesn't matter where you get to. To get to half your story and 2 minutes is up, it's really not a problem. Okay, oh, next one. You need to tell a funny story to get a high score. Okay, so that's right. This is false. It doesn't matter if your story is funny or boring or somewhere in between. It's of no importance, really. Next one. The examiner will ask you a follow-up question after your talk. Okay, again, we've got lots of trues, lots of falses, few not sures. Okay, so this is true. So after the 2 minutes, the examiner will ask you a follow-up question. So this is usually just a quick question. So if you've been talking about a beautiful place, 2 minutes, he might say, and so would you like to go back to this place? Just a quick question like that. The next one, you should give a long, detailed answer for this follow-up question. Okay, so some true, some falses, some not sure. Okay, so this is false because at this stage of the test, the examiner's kind of just really wanting to start part 3. You just finished part 2. The examiner wants to move on to part 3. He or she doesn't really want to hear a huge long answer to the follow-up question. So I recommend you answer the follow-up question just as simply as you can. It's okay to say, oh yes, I'd love to go back there. That's fine. Even shorter, you could just say yes. So don't worry about the follow-up question. You do not have to give a long answer. In fact, you should not really give a long answer. Okay, next one. The questions in part 3 are related to part 2. Okay, so looks like almost everybody's got the right answer here. Yes, so they are related. So let's say that the part 2 in your test is this: describe a beautiful place you once visited. Bearing in mind that part 3 is related to part 2, what do you think the part 3 of this test would be about? Good, Harry Zhao. Yes, so it could be about tourism, traveling, maybe something about nature. But yes, more likely to be about travel and tourism. That's right. Good. Okay, next one. Before you start planning, spend around 30 seconds choosing the specific topic you want to talk about. Okay, so we've got some saying true, some saying false. Okay, so do you think if this was your topic, describe a beautiful place you once visited, should you spend 30 seconds, i.e. half of your preparation time, deciding whether to talk about the time you went to Thailand or Indonesia or America or France? No. So what you should do, so this is obviously false. What you need to do is you need to choose your topic quickly. So you just write, immediately spend 2 seconds deciding which place and spend the rest of your time preparing the content of your speech. Okay, so choose your topic quickly. So if you have to describe a member of your family, don't spend 30 seconds deciding whether to talk about your brother or your sister or your mother. Just quickly decide on one person and then prepare the content. And obviously you should already have some ideas from your exam preparation, and you can adapt the topic very, very slightly, not by much. I would not really recommend adapting the topic too much, otherwise you go off topic. And obviously try to think of a memorable event. Try to think of a beautiful place that you went to relatively recently. Maybe don't choose the place you went to 20 years ago. You might not be able to remember any details, and that will affect the way you speak about the place. Okay, so now we are going to do some practice. We're going to practice describing places. So let's focus on number 1. So I want everybody to give me some adjectives or nouns or any kinds of words you can use to describe picture number 1, this one. Okay, good. Cloudy, majestic, cold, magnificent. Okay, great. Marvelous, scenery, mountainous. Good. So we've got some really good words there. We've got good adjectives. We've got some good nouns. So what I want you to do now is I want everybody to, when I say go, I want you to speak about this place for 30 seconds, and I'm going to time you. Obviously, in the test, you have to speak 2 minutes. Okay. Okay, ready, steady, go. Okay, so I want everybody speaking about picture number 1. Okay, so that's 30 seconds. How was that? Did anybody manage to keep going for the full 30 seconds? Good, easy peasy, good. Okay, so I'm glad that you found that easy. Now let's look at picture number 2, and I want you to give me some words that you can use to describe picture number 2. The picture number 2 is this one. Yeah, we got sunset, historic, yeah. Maybe a mosque, maybe it's a church. Yeah, it's a city, sunny. Yeah, it looks kind of Italian, doesn't it? So it looks European. Maybe you could just, what can we mainly see? What's this orange color? Yeah, we can see the roofs. That's right. See red roofs or orangey roofs. Looks like they're made out of maybe terracotta tiles or something. Narrow streets. Good. Yeah, steeped in history. That's good. Pizza. Okay. Okay, so now we did this one for 30 seconds and you found that easy. Now I want everybody at home to describe this picture for 1 minute when I say go. Okay, so ready, steady, go. Okay, stop. So that was 1 minute. So how did you find that? Was that difficult or easy? Okay, some people are saying it's easy. Some people saying it's difficult. I imagined it's probably quite difficult just to talk about that one picture for a full minute. Okay, then. So remember in the exam, it's 2 minutes. You have to speak for 2 minutes. So let's look at picture number 3 now. And I want you to give me some nouns or adjectives or just any words that you could use to describe picture number 3. Okay, yeah, so we've got modern, skyscrapers, yeah. High-rise buildings, big city, gorgeous, yeah. Crowded, maybe. Hotels. Yeah, no one's mentioned this yet. What do we call this in the water? What can we see in the water? A good reflection, that's good. Yeah, we can see the reflection of the buildings in the water. Looks like we can see a bridge here. What do we call these lights? They're often found in cities in Asia. That's right, yeah, neon lights. Yeah. Less so in European cities, probably more in Asian cities. Okay, so we've got quite a lot of words to go there. So this was 30 seconds, this was 1 minute. So we're going to increase the time to 90 seconds. So that's 1.5 minutes. So when I say go, I want you at home, in your house, to speak about this for 90 seconds. Okay, ready, steady, go. Okay, so that is 90 seconds. So we're not even up to 2 minutes yet. Who managed to do that? What did you find it? Was it difficult or easy? Not bad, no, difficult. Okay, some people are saying it's easy. I think a lot of people would find that quite difficult though. Okay, we won't bother with number 4 because there's really not much to say about that for a full 2 minutes. Okay, so some of you may have noticed that it's difficult to simply describe something for 2 minutes. So that is why planning your answer is essential. So why should you plan? Well, if you plan, it will enable you to speak for 2 minutes. You need to have a good plan, and a plan will also help you to develop your ideas logically. It will also increase your fluency and accuracy. So how do you plan your short talk? Well, you shouldn't just describe the place, but you should try to tell the examiner as much as you can about the background and context. So now I'm going to show you 4 more photos, and I want you to tell me what extra information you can give me about these photos. Okay, so I don't want you to tell me what you can see. I don't want you to tell me I can see a yellow canoe. I don't want you to tell me you can see a bear. I don't want you to tell me you can see a glacier and some mountains. Apart from this, what can you do? What extra information can you give me? Okay, the weather. Good. You could talk about the weather. So remember, this is a place that you have been to. So we're talking about a place that you went to. So we could talk about, okay, someone's mentioned the weather. Okay, so someone said trekking. So yeah, you could say what you did there. You could say what the weather was like. But what other background information could you give me? So remember that you went there, that maybe this is you. So if this is you, who are these people? So what could you tell me? Good. So you could tell me who you went with. Okay, so we've got who did you go with? What did you do there? What was the weather like? Good. So when did you go there? So we've got who, what, when, what else? Why? Good. Why did you go there? Good. How did you get there? And yes, good, your feeling. So what did you feel about the place? Good. So this is extra information that you can give the examiner. So this brings us to our first strategy. Okay, so our first strategy is called a mind map. So if in your exam you have to describe a place or a person or whatever, you can use this strategy where you write your topic in the middle, and around this you're going to write some headings. For example, where did you go? Did you go to Thailand? Did you go to Mexico? Did you go to South Africa? Where did you go to? When did you go there? Did you go there last year? Did you go there 10 years ago? Did you go there last week? Who did you go with? Did you go with your friends or your family? Why did you go there? Did you go there because you saw a picture of it in a magazine, or because you saw it on TV, or because someone recommended it to you? What did you do there? Did you go trekking? Did you go canoeing? Did you go camping? So what did you do? What was the weather like? Was it hot? Was it cold? What was the food like? Did you eat the local food or did you bring your own food? And would you recommend this place to your friends? Okay, so now we're going to answer some of these questions. So here on the left, I have the answers to these questions. So now I'm going to give everybody about 1 minute to match the questions and the answers, and then we will go through them together. Okay, so I'm going to give you 1 minute of silence now to do this exercise. Okay, so let's go through the answers together. So the answer to number 1 is, okay, that's right. Most people got A. What's the answer to number 2? That's right, D. What's the answer to number 3? That's right, H. What's the answer to number 4? Okay, that's right. Yeah, G. What's the answer to number 5? Okay, F, that's correct. Yeah, what's the answer to number 6? That's right, it's B. And what's the answer to number 7? That's right, C. And the answer to number 8? That's right, it's E. Good. So what we're going to do now is we are going to practice this. So your topic is a beautiful place that you have visited. So just like in the test, I'm going to give you 1 minute to prepare, and then I want you to use this strategy to speak for 2 minutes. So I want you to, at home, practice telling me where you went, when you went there, who you went with, why you went there, etc. Use this strategy. Okay, so now we've got 1 minute of silence so you can prepare. Okay, so sorry, that's your time. Preparation time is up. Now I want everybody at home to speak for 2 minutes, and you must keep going until I say stop. So ready, steady, go. Okay, so that's 2 minutes. Did anybody manage to speak for the full 2 minutes? Okay, good. So hopefully you found this strategy useful for describing a place. Good. So you could use obviously the same strategy for describing a restaurant. So maybe the topic the examiner gives you is, please could you describe a restaurant you visited recently? So what headings could we use for the restaurant? What headings could we write here? Yeah, good. We could say where. Yeah, we could say, yeah, who did you go with? When did you go there? We could say, why did you go to this restaurant? We could say, what was the food like? What was the atmosphere like in the restaurant? Was it good or bad? Good. Okay, so hold on a second. Now, I'm going to tell you the second strategy we are going to look at today. Remember, I told you we're looking at 2 strategies. So the first one is the one that we've just finished looking at, which was the mind map. Now, the second strategy is telling a story. Okay, a story would structure your talk. The story doesn't need to be exciting. It could be quite a mundane kind of ordinary story, like missing a bus or losing your phone. So what kind of story do you think you could tell based on these photos? Okay, yeah, you could tell a story about an adventure, traveling with friends. Yeah, you could tell how the bear chased you. You're hiking in a mountain, went kayaking. Good. Okay, yeah. So that's what your story would be about. So in your story, maybe you could have 5 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And maybe these could be the 5 parts of your story. So which part do you think would come first in the story? Yeah, okay, I think the most logical part would be an introduction. Yeah, so you might introduce why you have, yeah, why you are talking about this place. What do you think would come next? Yeah, so you might talk about the past. So yeah, talk about the past. So what were you doing at the time of the story? What part would you talk about next? Yeah, you would then go on to describe, give a description. So you'd say what happened in the story. And then what would you do next? Yeah, then you would probably give your opinion of this place. And then you might talk about the future. So now let's have a look at what goes in each of these parts of the story. So in the introduction, you could say, what are you going to speak about and why you chose to speak about this place? For the second part of the story, the past, you could say, where were you living at the time and what were you doing at the time? For the next part of the story, you could give a little description. Okay, so you're going to say what happened. So this is probably the longest, most important part of your story now. Next, you could give your opinion. You could say if you thought it was a good or a bad experience, and would you recommend it to others? Next, you could say, would you do it again? Would you be willing to go back to this place, and why? Why not? Okay, so now we're going to practice using this story method. Okay, so we need to say, what are you going to speak about and why? So can anyone tell me, is this a good introduction? A beautiful place I visited is Alaska. Is that good? No. So this is too short. So how could we develop this introduction? Well, we could use an introductory phrase. This is a phrase that you can use in every single time you have a part 2 topic. You could say, today, I'd like to talk about, and then your topic, a place I went on holiday, and now we're going to make some relative clauses. So who can tell me which word can we put? Okay, got the right answer. Yep. So which was exceptionally beautiful. The place is called the Kenai Fjords. Which word could go in here? Okay, again, yeah, we can have which is located in the southern part of Alaska. Okay, so we have already done this part. We have said what we are going to speak about, and now we need to give a reason. Why did we choose this place? So I chose to talk about this place. Okay, so this is not the last word of the sentence. So don't think about that. So what word could come here if we are giving a reason? That's right. So because, yeah, or as would have been fine as well, because the time I spent there was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. Okay, so now I want you to practice the introduction by talking about a restaurant that you visited recently. And I want you to, I'm going to give you 30 seconds at home to fill in the blanks while talking about your restaurant. Okay, good. So I hope you managed to do that. Who can remember after the introduction, what's the next part of the story? Yeah, so now we're going to go on to the past. So, okay, here we could use a signpost expression like, but first, let me give you a bit more something on this trip. So what word could go in here? Okay, we could have information, yeah. Bit more context, okay, yeah. Good background, that's good. A bit more background on this trip. So now we need to give the background. So at the time, now we need to use the past form. So we need to use the narrative tenses here. Something working. Good. I was working as a teacher in Rome. I'd something working there. Yeah, good. Most people have got the right answer. So this is the past perfect progressive. I'd been working there for 5 years, and two of my close friends, Pete and Chris, had. So it could be already, or it could be another word that we often use with this particular tense. That's good. Okay, just, yeah, had just left the school. where we, something working. That's right, yeah, where we were working. Okay, so this is past continuous, talking about an activity that was continuing in the past. Okay, so we, something to. So this is going to be a verb. Okay, some of you have already got the right answer. Okay, most of you have got the right answer, yeah. So we decided to go. Planned also works though. Agreed also works. So grammatically, all of these are correct. Have to go on holiday is not correct. So now we're on to the longest part of the story, which is the description. So this is where we have to say what happened in the story. So again, we can use a signpost phrase. So anyway, when, and now we have to use the past simple for the main event as well. So when we got there, so got is the past tense of which verb? Good, that's right, get. Could is the past tense of which verb? That's right, can. We could see what all the fuss is about. We something kayaking. Okay, yeah, so most of you have got the right verb. So it's we went kayaking. So for some activities, some sports, we might use the verb do, like kung fu, I do kung fu, or yoga, I do yoga. Some sports we use the verb play basketball, play badminton. And some sports or activities we use the verb go, I go swimming or I go kayaking. Okay, to a glacier, camping by the shore, and what comes next? Good, yeah, and saw so many different types of animals. So looking at this little hyphen here, what do you think is going to come next? Well, yeah, examples, but so that's right, they're going to list the animals that they saw. Okay, so these are the different types of animals that they saw. So just before we left, so as soon as I click here, this bear comes. So what do you think is going to happen in the story? What do you think he's going to say? Okay, maybe a dangerous event. Yeah, something thrilling happened. Yeah, maybe the bear ran towards us. Yeah. Okay, so a bear, something into our camp. Okay, yeah, we could say ran, we could say came, we could say walked. Yeah, so all of these, yeah, bear jumped into our camp. So all of these verbs are okay, apart from attacked. You can't attack into a camp. You could say a bear attacked our camp, yeah, but not attacked into. Okay, a bear came into our camp and something to chase him away. Okay, so I tried to, that works. I had to, that also is fine. Okay, so tried to, had to, grammatically are both correct. Obviously, they have different meanings. If you say, I had to, this is talking about your kind of obligation. This is what you had to do. If you say I tried to, it's something that you tried to do, maybe weren't successful. So they're both grammatically correct. They just have different meanings. So now we have to give our opinion. We have to say whether it was a good or bad experience, and we're going to say whether or not you would recommend it. So, in my what? Okay, that's right. Yeah, in my opinion, if you like the outdoors, Alaska is the perfect holiday So this is a kind of collocation here. Yeah, some people have already got the right word. Yeah, most people have got the right word, a holiday destination. So this is a good collocation. And if you want to get a 6 or more for lexical resource in the test, you need to show the examiner use good collocation. So it has what kind of nature? If the nature hasn't been destroyed or, okay, you could say intact nature, yeah, beautiful nature, tranquil nature. Okay, all of these adjectives are fine. Well preserved is good. Okay, good, that's somebody got the right word. It's unspoiled nature. And lots of different something to do. Okay, so this is going to be in the plural. Someone wrote it in the singular. Good, activities, plural, there's lots of. And a something to encounter animals in the wild. Good, chance to encounter animals in the wild. Okay, now it's the future. So what linking word could we use to say that this is the last part of the story? Good, finally, with something to the future, with regards to the future, I'd something go back there. Okay, we could say I'd like to go back there. What if you want to use a stronger word? That's good, love. I'd love to go back there. And here we give a reason. So what word could we have here? We're giving a reason. Okay, we could have because or as, yeah? As I feel like I only something. Okay, you could say explored. Good, experienced, Anna. I only experienced a small part of what the country has to offer. Okay, so now we are going to practice this. So I want everybody at home to practice the story method. So here is the story method. I'm going to give you 2 minutes as from now to practice the story method. Okay, so ready, steady, go. Okay, so you've got 20 more seconds, so keep going on your story. Last 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so that was 2 minutes. Did anybody manage to keep going for the whole 2 minutes? Okay, good. So today we have looked at two strategies you can use to help you with your short talk. One was the mind map, The second was the story. Okay, so now just before we finish, I'm afraid that we probably won't have time for the question and answers. We've only got a few minutes. So I just want to let you know that in addition to the free webinar service that we provide, that you just took part in, we also offer some paid services to those who want them, such as the speaking test. So if you are a little bit nervous about the speaking test and you want some practice before the real thing, we have some real life examiners who are actually IELTS examiners who can conduct a speaking test with you. So how does it work? Well, you can choose a speaking test on the website. You can then make a recording of your test. So you can do your part 1, your part 2, and your part 3, sorry. And then you upload this to the website. And then within 48 hours, you will receive your score, which will look like this. So the examiner will give you your score here. So for fluency and coherence, this person got a 9, a 7 for grammar, an 8 for lexical resource, and a 7 for pronunciation. And there'll be a justification of why you got that score, and more importantly, what you need to do to improve your score. And this is also a service that we use for writing tests. So if you can upload your essays to our website, and we will give you feedback on what you need to do to improve. And I think this is very useful for many people. Okay, so here you can find further information about the speaking and writing evaluation we found on the website here. Information regarding upcoming webinars can be found here. And there's more IELTS information here. We also have a YouTube channel and a Facebook page. So these services, the speaking test service and the writing test service, are very, very useful, and it could really help you to boost your score. And I think you can find recordings of these webinars as well. Sorry, I just saw somebody asking me a question about the recording. You can find the recordings on the website, I believe, here. And these are free. Okay, well, I hope everybody found today's webinar useful, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. So thank you very much, everybody, for coming, and I look forward to seeing you again. Okay, bye-bye.